When you get your Neopop drawing sent to you through Google Drive or Gmail, you're going to click on the three dots in the upper right hand corner, and that's going to let you download the image, and it's going to download as a JPG or JPEG. Then you'll go over to Photoshop, open it up, and go to File Open to open up your scanned image. I'm using two student examples in this example, but yours will look probably a little different. So I'm going to just open this one up really quick. And this one I wanted to show because you can duplicate some things and also use some shape tools with this one. Chances are you're going to get your drawing and it might be rotated the wrong way. So we are going to do a little rotation first of all. We're going to do image rotation. I'm going to do 90 degrees counterclockwise. You might do it clockwise or 180 depending on the dimensions. Since I'm going to be repeating this Starbucks logo multiple times, I can actually use a few tricks and tips for digitizing here that's going to save some time. First thing you need to remember is it's helpful if you have your layers open. We're not going to do any drawing on this background layer. We're going to make a new layer. So this new layer is our drawing layer. And what I like to do is I'll double click on that name there where it says layer 1. And I'm just going to type in drawing. Beautiful. Okay, so that reminds me that yes, I'm drawing on this layer. I'm not drawing on the background layer. The reason why you don't want to draw on the background layer is because if you want to erase any mistakes, and eventually we are going to erase our background layer, then you're not going to be able to do that. So you want to draw on a separate layer, and then we'll eventually delete that background layer. The other thing you're going to need is your brush tool. So the brush tool is here. Most of us are going to be using this for tracing. I'm going to adjust the size because right now 105 is way too big. I'll change the color so you can see. Like that's way too big for outlining. So I want it to be small enough to outline, but not too small that it's really hard to use. Like that's probably a good size. And then your hardness should be 100%. You do not want it to be 0. And I'm going to show you why. So hardness is 100. I'm just going to quick show you on this layer. I'm just going to pretend that I'm outlining here. I'm not really, right? Okay, so there is my hardness 100%. I'm going to do hardness of 0, same size. And I'm going to zoom in to show you the difference here. I'm going to add a color to the background too, because I think this is really important to understand. This is why you really want to make sure you're paying attention and you're paying attention to which layer you're actually on. And then I'm going to zoom in so you can see better. Okay, so this is the soft fuzzy circle that I just drew, and this is the hard 100% hardness circle that I just drew. When I go in and I use my paint bucket to fill it in with a color, I'm going to show you this one first. So you can kind of see there's that halo, what we call a halo around the outside edge. Let me change the color of this background. Maybe you can see it a little better. So you see that little white area? If I zoom in a lot more, you can really see that halo, right? And that's because it was a soft, fuzzy brush. So the paint bucket's like, well, I'll fill it in up until it gets to that fuzziness, and then I'm going to stop. If I fill in a color, I'm going to go to the pink here for this one, it's going to fill in a lot more. Sometimes there's still a little bit of a halo. Like there might be a tiny, tiny bit. If there is, you can always just click one more time to just fill it in extra. But there's not really any gap there. There's no halo. You know, if I zoom in here, it goes from black to the color pretty much instantly. So you want to make sure you use 100% hardness on your brush, not 0%, unless you really want it fuzzy for some reason. Okay. I'm going to go back here though. I'm going to do Control Z to go back. Control Z to my original work. Here we go. Okay, if you have something that has a shape like a circle or a square, I am totally fine if you want to use the shape tools. So right down here, you're looking for your shape tools. I'm going to right click with my mouse and I'm going to choose the ellipse tool. I'm going to do a circle because I don't really want to trace the circle. I just kind of want to make my circle. As a reminder, if you hold down Shift and click and drag, it's going to give you the option to make a perfect circle, and you could just, approximate the size here. Okay, and then I'll let go. Up here, we're going to turn the fill off because I don't want any fill. I just want the outline. We're not adding any color at this point. We're just outlining. And the stroke of black is fine. I am going to increase the size of that stroke just a little bit. You can actually pay attention to that pixel size because you can do that same size for your brush. So I'm going to do, I'm going to do 10. I'll just type in 10 here. There we go. And then you can use those arrow keys to move it with the move tool. If you need to adjust, I'm using the arrow keys on my keyboard. That's pretty good. Eventually, we're going to combine all these layers. I'm going to do my new layer here for drawing on. And now I'm going to use the brush to start tracing. So from here, I'm going to grab my brush tool. I'm going to make sure that it's 100% hardness. We know the size is about 10 pixels if we want it to be the same. And then I want to make sure I'm on this drawing layer. Okay. All right, here we go. And we're going to start tracing. I'm going to show you a couple things. So whoops, make sure it's black. I am tracing actually right now with my trackpad, which is not advisable. This is really hard to do with a trackpad. You are welcome to use a drawing tablet, or a mouse is fine too. My mouse is just charging right now. You'll see I'm going along the drawing that I did, and I'm doing my best to outline. It's so hard with the trackpad though. Oh my gosh. Okay. Bear with me. You can also, just to help yourself out a little bit, increase the smoothing a little bit. So I wouldn't go any higher than like 40% just because it can really lag, but that can kind of give you a little bit smoother lines. See how it kind of like just smooths everything out. If you're kind of jittery, or if you're like me and you had a lot of coffee today, this is actually not too bad for the trackpad. I hate drawing on a trackpad. This is terrible. All right, we're gonna do the best. I'm not gonna talk bad about myself. Here we go. Oh my gosh. Okay. And something to keep in mind is when you're tracing, you really want your shapes to join back up. So like this is a solid shape now. If I was tracing that same, crown shape and I left part of it open, like see there, I left part of that open. When I go in and I'm going to add my color then, it's not going to fill it in. It's just going to fill in the whole thing. So we want separate shapes, right? So if I can go in and then color this, it's going to just color it in the crown. Okay? And you're just going to keep tracing as you go along, keep tracing on that same layer. Eventually, we're going to turn off that bottom layer. And I'm not going to necessarily trace this entire thing just for the sake of time. But I'm going to I'm just going to draw a couple more things here as like my example. Please understand that you can do a much better job tracing just using a mouse, or a drawing tablet can help too. It takes a little bit of time with the drawing tablets to get used to them, so give yourself a chance. Don't give up. Try it. If you don't like it, keep playing with it, keep trying. If you don't like it after a couple weeks, then don't worry about it. Oh my gosh, this is not great. But we're just going to do her face because I feel like it looks weird without her face. Ah. All right. Okay. Let's just pretend, for the sake of time, that I am pretty much done. I know I'm not, but we're going to pretend, okay? We'll say, all right, I traced this whole Starbucks logo. I'm going to turn off my background layer, and you'll see I have just the checkerboard now. Now, with these layers, again, we're just pretending. I'm going to erase this extra crown that I left up here. Let's make sure I'm on the right layer. There we go. So I have a shape layer that's called drawing. That's where my circle is. And then I have this other layer here. I'm going to show you how to combine layers because we're going to need to combine this and then we're going to duplicate it 6 times. So I'm going to hold down Shift and click on this circle layer. I can right click on those 2 highlighted layers now, and now I can say merge layers. So now that these are merged, they're all on the same layer now. Okay. Now from here, I can duplicate, and what I'm probably going to do right now is I'm going to either resize, or you can do File New, but I'm going to resize. I'm going to do Control T here. And we're going to make this smaller because I want to be able to fit 6 of these on one page. And you could rotate this if you wanted, or whatever dimensions you need. I'm going to try and make it so I could fit 6 all together on one. That's pretty good. Now I can do Control J on the keyboard, or edit duplicate layer, right click, say duplicate layer right here. Oops, I'm going to try and grab that duplicate. It'll say drawing copy. You just have to like grab on. Whoops, it's because they're both selected. Here we go. There we go. You can kind of use those pink lines as a guide with lining things up. You can also make sure when you have view on that you have snap on, and then that'll kind of help you with like snapping it to, see how it kind of like suction cups like that. Okay. Now the cool thing is here too, I can highlight these. I highlighted both of them. I'm going to do Control J again. I just made 2 copies. I'm going to click and drag. Look at that, just to save time. And then I'll do it one more time. Control J on the keyboard and drag it down. Cool. I'm going to try and evenly space this. So it's going to be kind of a Warhol-esque design. I could crop some of that side or out on there too, but that's okay. Okay. And then it's all about filling it in with the paint bucket. So now is the easy part, right? We have our paint bucket. I can grab whatever colors I need feel free to grab lots of different colors. Most Neopop works are going to be very bright. If you're kind of doing the Warhol style, paying attention to which layer you're on, you're going to use a lot of bright colors, and each one would be a little bit different. So like maybe I'll go in here, we'll do something like this. Just grab a bunch of colors here and fill it in like so. And then maybe the next one, fill in the next one, with a different color. Something like that. And that's it. So if you have any questions about how this works, this is literally all it is you're like making a coloring page and then coloring it in.